Imagine this. Right before missiles start to fall on your city, every single traffic camera, every TV screen, and every app on your phone is suddenly turned against you, hijacked by the enemy.
You know, when we think about modern war, we picture jets and bombs, but that's missing the first shot, the invisible battle that happens on the digital front line. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how these cyber operations became a digital wrecking ball, completely dismantling Iran's defenses before a single physical strike was even launched.
But here's the thing. There is one critical mistake, a massive illusion, really, that almost everyone makes when they think about cyber warfare, and it's an illusion pushed by governments themselves. If you don't understand this one dark truth, you will completely misread how global conflict actually works. Stick around, because we're pulling back the curtain on that at the very end.
So picture this. Early March 2026, US and Israeli jets are about to launch a massive bombing campaign, the one that ultimately killed Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Well, they didn't just fly in blind. The first thing they did was make sure the enemy was blind.
The first wave of the attack wasn't a missile. It was a line of code. It was a massive, coordinated assault from space and cyberspace, all designed to just pull the plug on Iran's sensor and communications networks. We're talking about a total digital blackout. The goal was to make them completely unable to see an attack coming, or even talk to each other to coordinate a response.
And yeah, this wasn't some rogue hacker group. This came straight from the top. As General Dan Kane, the U.S. chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said himself, the whole point of this first phase is to disrupt, disorient, and confuse. It's all about creating total chaos before the first bomb even thinks about dropping. And that's just a fascinating piece of strategy, isn't it? If you appreciate these kinds of breakdowns that show you what's really happening behind the headlines, do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel at BrandTechAuth. It really makes a huge difference.
Okay, so you've pulled the plug on the military's radar. They're flying blind. But that creates a brand new problem. How in the world do you find one person, a single target, hiding somewhere in a sprawling city of millions, like Tehran?
Well, the answer is as brilliant as it is absolutely terrifying. You turn the city's own eyes against itself. This is where the digital war stops being about networks and starts getting very, very personal.
To find Khamenei, it's reported that Israeli spies didn't just use satellites. They activated hacks they had secretly been sitting on for years inside Tehran's own traffic camera network. And they went even deeper, penetrating Iranian mobile phone networks. Just think about that. They effectively turned the technology in every citizen's pocket into one massive, citywide tracking grid.
So, okay, the military is blind? Check. The leaders are being tracked? Check. But to truly win on a modern battlefield, you have to go one step further. You have to weaponize the minds of the citizens themselves.
And this, my friends, is the era of digital psychological operations, or PSYOPs. This is where the war moves from physical infrastructure to the battlefield inside people's head.
I mean, just look at this strategy. It's incredible. Israel physically bombed the offices of 2 state-run Iranian TV channels, and then they hijacked their broadcast signals. So suddenly, Iranian citizens tuning in for the state news were instead watching speeches from Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, urging them to rise up against their own government. Just wild.
But the attacks got even more personal. Hackers breached an app called Beid Sabah. It's a wildly popular prayer calendar app in Iran. And on the very first day of the war, a push notification was sent to all its users with this chilling message: lay down your weapons or join the forces of liberation. Only in this way can you save your lives. This wasn't just a hack. It was a calculated psychological blow.
So, we've seen the hacked cams, the hijacked TVs, the blinded sensors. But remember that critical mistake I mentioned at the very beginning? That big illusion? Okay, let's get into it.
The biggest secret in cyber warfare is this. Authorities deliberately exaggerate how powerful it is. They want to intimidate their enemies and, frankly, misdirect the public. We all assume these cyber ops are some unstoppable magic bullet that can win wars all by themselves. But that is the lie.
And here's the perfect proof. Take the blackout in Venezuela. U.S. officials heavily implied that American hackers had just flipped a switch and turned off the power in Caracas. But when analysts dug into it, the reality was likely very different. It's far more likely the blackout was caused by old-school fighter jets physically blowing up electrical substations.
So here's the crucial point you have to remember. War is still about physical force.
Cyber warfare is the ultimate support class. It's the digital wrecking ball that clears the path. It disorients the enemy, it creates the opening, but it doesn't drop the final payload. It enables the attack, it doesn't replace it.
So now that you know about the big cyber lie, will you ever watch the news about modern conflict the same way again? If you want to stop falling for the hype and understand what's really happening on the digital front lines, make sure you're subscribed.